Have you ever felt trapped inside your own thoughts, as if your mind had built a maze you can't escape? You lie awake at night, replaying conversations that happened years ago, imagining scenarios that may never happen, convincing yourself that if you just think harder, you'll find the solution. But here's the paradox. The harder you chase clarity, the more elusive it becomes. Your mind, your very own mind, is lying to you. And no, this isn't some abstract Zen riddle. This is the simple, terrifying truth that a monk once shared with me, and it changed the way I live, the way I breathe, the way I think. We all believe that thinking more will bring us closer to truth. If we overanalyze, if we strategize endlessly, if we mentally prepare for every possible outcome, somehow we believe we will gain control. But what the monk revealed is that overthinking is not a path to mastery, it's a trap. It's a whirlwind that keeps us spinning in circles, exhausting our energy, clouding our judgment, and suffocating our intuition. The mind, brilliant as it is not a faithful servant, it's a cunning trickster. It whispers lies, manufactures fear, and convinces us that what is urgent is always important. He told me to imagine my mind as a wild river. When you try to grab it, to redirect it forcefully, it slips through your fingers, raging against your control. You can't hold it. You can't shape it with sheer will. But if you step back, if you stop struggling, if you simply observe its flow, the river settles. The water finds its own path. The current moves freely, and suddenly clarity emerges where there was once chaos. Overthinking, the monk explained, is like standing in the river, trying to catch the water with your bare hands, thinking that by gripping it tighter you will not drown. In reality, the tighter you grip, the faster you tire, and the further you are from peace. Here's the monk's trick, a counterintuitive practice that seems almost absurd at first. He said, when your mind races, stop. Do nothing. Breathe. Watch the thoughts pass like clouds in the sky. Do not chase them. Do not argue with them. Do not analyze them. Let them go. This is what he called the art of conscious surrender. And at first, I thought, how can doing nothing accomplish anything? How can letting go create results? But as days passed, I noticed a shift. The frantic looping thoughts began to loosen their grip. Anxiety, the constant undercurrent in my mind, softened. Creativity, inspiration, and intuition began to emerge in the spaces left by stillness. Think about it. Your mind, when left unchecked, is like a magician performing a never-ending illusion. It shows you problems that may not exist, magnifies fears that may never manifest, and distracts you from the simplicity of now. It tells you, you must act, you must plan, you must fix this immediately, when often the best action is stillness. The monk's approach is not about laziness. It's about mastery. It's the difference between reacting to the storm and becoming the calm center that weather withstands. There is a subtle but profound power in this method. When you stop overthinking, you begin to see patterns in your mind that were invisible before. You notice how often you sabotage your own peace. How often your assumptions are false. How often your fears are not grounded in reality. You begin to question the stories your mind tells you. And here's the twist. Once you stop believing every thought, you gain freedom. The mind, which once felt like a tyrant, becomes a tool. Thoughts come and go, but they no longer control you. The monk also shared a metaphor that I carry with me to this day. He said, imagine your mind as a sky. Thoughts are clouds, some are dark, some are bright, some move fast, some slow. You can watch them, you can even enjoy their shapes. But you are not the clouds. You are the sky, infinite, calm, always present. This image is deceptively simple, but transformative. When you realize that you are the observer, not the endless chatter, you step out of the vicious cycle of overthinking. You stop identifying with each fleeting worry, each imagined regret. You reclaim the vastness of your inner sky. But there's another layer to this lesson, a deeper twist. The monk explained that overthinking often arises from a need to control the uncontrollable. We are terrified of uncertainty. We want to predict, to prevent, to plan every eventuality. Yet life, in its raw, unpredictable beauty, cannot be controlled. The mind struggles, and the more it struggles, the more it fabricates dangers and dilemmas. By surrendering not to life's unpredictability but to your own mind, you break the cycle. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable and instead align yourself with reality. The result is clarity, decisiveness, and a profound inner calm that seems almost impossible in a chaotic world. The practice itself is elegantly simple, yet it requires patience. When you catch yourself overthinking, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I solving a real problem or am I creating one in my mind? Observe your thoughts as a neutral witness. If a thought arises that is unhelpful, let it pass without engagement. You don't have to suppress it. You don't have to fight it. You simply let it drift away. Over time, this creates a mental space so quiet and expansive that insight emerges effortlessly. Decisions that once felt paralyzing become intuitive. Creativity flows without strain. Peace becomes a default state rather than a fleeting reward. Let me share a story. There was a man in the monk's village, a scholar, brilliant yet tormented by indecision. He would sit for hours, turning a single problem over in his mind, unable to act. One day, the monk asked him to follow a simple instruction. Do nothing for 10 minutes. Sit quietly. Observe your thoughts and let them go. The scholar laughed, thinking it pointless. But he obeyed. And in that silence, a solution he had been chasing for weeks appeared, effortlessly, as if delivered by the universe itself. The trick, the monk explained, was never in the mind. It was in the space beyond the mind. Overthinking, he said, obscures the very clarity we seek. Stillness reveals it. We live in a society that glorifies constant action, relentless problem-solving, and hyper-productivity. Yet, ironically, it is in our refusal to chase every thought and our willingness to step back that the most profound results are born. This is not passivity. This is strategy at the highest level. The monk's insight teaches us that overthinking is not a flaw to overcome, but a signal to pause, to breathe, and to reclaim the observer's perspective. Here's a question to challenge you. If your mind is lying to you, as the monk claims, what would happen if you refused to believe every story it tells? What if you realized that thoughts are not commands but visitors? Could you finally experience freedom from the constant mental chatter that keeps you exhausted, anxious, and unsure? The answer almost always is yes. And the liberation is profound. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it is transformative. Another twist in the monk's wisdom is the idea that clarity is not found by adding more thought, but by creating more space. Imagine a room cluttered with objects, each representing a worry, a fear, or a concern. The mind struggles to navigate this room. Overthinking piles objects on top of objects, until movement feels impossible. Now imagine removing each item without judgment, letting each thought pass naturally. Suddenly, the room is spacious. You can breathe. You can move freely. Your decisions are no longer dictated by chaos, but guided by presence and awareness. The monk emphasized consistency. This is not a one-time trick, but a daily practice. Overthinking is habitual. Like a muscle that has been overused in one direction, the mind tends to default to endless analysis. Each day, take moments to pause. Observe. Breathe. Release. Slowly, the habit of overthinking diminishes. You become the master of your mind rather than its captive. And in that mastery lies a strength deeper than any strategic plan or calculation. It is the strength of peace, clarity, and aligned action. Think of the mental clarity that emerges as sunlight piercing through a dense fog. At first, the fog seems impenetrable, thick with worry, regret, and imagined catastrophes. But when you stop struggling, the fog begins to thin. Rays of insight reach your consciousness. Solutions become visible. Actions that once seemed impossible become natural. And you realize all along that the mind was never an enemy. It was simply lost in its own illusions. You, the observer, are the compass. And let's not ignore the emotional liberation this practice brings. Overthinking is exhausting because it's an emotional treadmill. You feel fear, anxiety, self-doubt, regret, guilt, and anticipation all at once. By stepping back, you allow these emotions to exist without allowing them to dominate. You see them, acknowledge them, but you don't react. You become unshakable not by removing challenge, but by changing your relationship to it. And in this unshakable calm, you find a joy that is resilient, permanent, and not dependent on external circumstances. The monk's teachings also encourage reflection. Ask yourself, how many decisions have you delayed because you were overthinking? How many opportunities have slipped by because you were waiting for the perfect answer that never comes? How much energy have you spent fighting your own mind? And now, imagine reclaiming that energy, using it not to chase every thought, but to act decisively, creatively, and with presence. This is the subtle power of conscious stillness. Here is a practice you can start today. Sit for 5 minutes in silence. Close your eyes. Let your thoughts arise naturally, like waves in the ocean. Do not chase the waves. Do not resist them, simply observe them. With each wave, ask, is this thought serving me? Is it true? Is it necessary? If not, allow it to pass. Gradually, you will notice a space between the waves, a stillness within the ocean of your mind. That space is where clarity, wisdom, and inspiration reside. That space is where you meet your truest self. Remember, overthinking is a symptom, not a disease. It's a signal that your mind seeks control in a world that is inherently uncontrollable. The monk's trick, the art of conscious surrender, does not eliminate thought. It liberates you from the tyranny of thought. You become the observer, the calm, the sky beneath the clouds. You reclaim your life from endless mental loops and step into a state of empowered presence. And in that presence, you discover that life is not something to solve, but something to experience fully, consciously, and with awareness. So today, when you notice the familiar spiral of overthinking, remember the river, remember the sky, remember the space between the waves. Pause, observe, release, trust that clarity will come not from chasing it, but from allowing it. Your mind is a brilliant instrument, but it is not your master. You are the master. You are the calm in the storm, the observer in the river, the sky in which thoughts drift freely. If this resonates with you, take a moment to breathe, to pause, and to notice how your mind feels right now. Can you let go of the need to control, to overthink, to argue with every passing thought? Can you simply be fully present, fully alive, fully aware? This is not a theoretical exercise. This is a practical path to freedom, to clarity, and to a life lived with power and peace. And if you found this video helpful, if it sparked even a small shift in your awareness, I invite you to join our community. Like this video, share it with someone who overthinks, and subscribe to Echoes of Greatness for more lessons that illuminate the mind, strengthen the spirit, and awaken your potential. Leave a comment below sharing the moment when you realized your mind was lying to you, and how you chose to reclaim the calm within. Together, we can create a ripple of awareness that changes not just our lives, but the lives of those around us. Your mind is a labyrinth, but you are not lost. You are the lantern that lights the path, the calm in the storm, the observer of thoughts that no longer hold you captive. Step back, watch, release, and in that release, discover the freedom, clarity, and power that have always been waiting for you.